Sis and tell, sis and tell. A whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up. Allison's on TV. And when they hop on the phone, it's the place you want to be. Sis and tell. A whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Just making sure I don't look naked in this video because I'm wearing a strapless dress.
You do not look naked.
Well,
No.
I've had to position the camera because if not, it's like this, and you're like,
Oh,
what is she
yeah.
doing?
It wouldn't have shocked me. Let me be clear.
As Mommy says, perception is reality.
That is right. You have to be careful. That intention versus impact. I say that a lot.
Oh, yes, I like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. So, one of the things I love about my husband is that he cleans. He's a cleaner. He's a natural born cleaner.
I feel
So
like there's a butt coming.
there is. Wait for it. He does dishes, he does laundry. He's almost compulsive about the laundry. So, we have all three boys home, and he's doing even more laundry because he just doesn't like things to sit. So the other day he brings in the whole pile of dried clothes into the living room and throws it on the ottoman where he starts to fold. And all of a sudden I hear him go, uh-oh. All of these white shirts have
Oh.
pink tie-dyed stains all over them. And I'm like,
I'm just laughing.
I'm like, what? And this has happened before, right?
Oh,
Which,
no.
who am I to complain? Because I don't want to do laundry. So if
Right.
every so often he ruins a whole load of clothes because he didn't realize by putting in the bright red tennis skirt that Arthur's significant other had brought to wear while visiting us, that might, I don't know, rub off on all of the non-red material
But
clothing.
usually clothes don't bleed anymore, right? Like now they're like made with color fast material. It's unless you're putting literally like a newly tie-dyed shirt in with the laundry, that usually doesn't happen. So I'm
Well,
surprised
that's
it
not
did.
true. It still happens because it's
Okay.
happened to me on occasion, and I will say like almost every 6 months this happens to me. And at first when it happened, I was
Alan
very
happens
upset.
to you.
Yeah. First I was very upset because the thing that got tie-dyed pink was my favorite white tank top. Now, anybody who is anybody, meaning women who like to wear white tank tops, which is I think a lot of women, knows when you find like the perfect white tank top and it gets either lost, shrunk, or ruined, it's really devastating. It
It's
really
the
can
end
throw
of
you a
the
curveball.
world.
It is. It's the
Go
worst
get another
because
one.
no. Okay, so my problem is all the tank tops I love most are like 20 years old and from stores that are either non-existent in Chattanooga or non-existent period, like The Gap or Banana Republic, which
Oh,
I haven't seen
yeah.
either one of those stores in decades.
But also the Gap is now 20 times the price it used to be.
Oh, see, we don't even have a Gap in Chattanooga anymore.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So here's what happened the first time this happened. So it's my favorite white tank top, which, and again, when you make a great white shirt or a great black shoe or a great anything, and then I'm talking to you companies, and then you decide, oh, that was perfect. And it was very sought after. And now I'm never going to make it ever again. That's just rude. That's just rude, right?
It's rude.
It's rude. It's
We're
totally
so rude. Don't
Yeah.
be so rude.
So
Don't be
this
so
is one of
rude,
those
clothing
tanks.
companies.
This is not Gap or Banana Republic. This is the company Michael Stars, which I love also because a lot of their shirts are just one size. So I don't even have to think about it. Perfect white tank, one size, throw it on, done.
Bull.
Okay, it's maybe not one size fits all. One size fits most. It fit me, let's just say.
What? Who's most? Who's most? No, wait, can we talk about this? It's one thing to have one size fits all and it's a hat, okay? Because there's probably an average size head. But when it comes to women's clothing, I don't like that one size fits all shenanigans. That does the only time I've seen a one size fits all shirt was when I was in Israel in the late 90s when I was in college, and it was a one size fits all Israeli women, not and they are built differently. Let's just put it that way. They are built differently. They are built like Gal Gadot. So
yes. Right, we are the girls Gadol. She is Gal Gadot, right?
Yes.
There's something different. So Gadol in Hebrew means large. Anyway, so that was funny to people who understood that little joke, which is maybe 0.5% of our listening population. Moving on. So at first I was really upset, and I agree with you with the one size. It is pretty bogus. In this case, this shirt pretty much can fit. I mean, it would look good on pretty much anybody. So he's ruined the shirt. This is like 2 years ago. I'm very upset because I am doing everything. So my first instinct is put it in, spray and wash. Doesn't work. I've got a whole tub of things. My friend Jennifer, who is the stain queen, we call her, because she can remove any stain anywhere. She has given me over the years just every type of stain remover there is, and I've got that box, and I try every one in succession. Right now, I'm soaking it in OxyClean, right in the tub. Nothing's coming out. Finally, I have to think to myself, okay, it's not a stain. It's been tie-dyed. So I need to get the tie-dyed shirt untie-dyed.
The issue is once it goes into the dryer, it kind of sets, right? It's
theoretically, but here's the product I want to share with you today. This is when we turn the podcast into an infomercial, because this is old school. Do you remember RIT? RIT is like a color dye. You can find it in the grocery store. Yeah. So RIT it's a pink box. It's like, I got this one for like $1.99 with my Food City customer appreciation card, or whatever it's called. $1.99, maybe it's $2. Right next to the laundry detergent in basically any grocery store. I'm sure Target or Walmart too. RIT color remover. Now, this is not RIT whitening. There's also a whitening. There's also one that you can turn your clothes black, or this is the opposite. This is what you use actually if you have a shirt that's sort of dingy or has color on it and you want to prepare it to tie-dye. So you want it to be sparkling white clean again. So I was like, okay, after doing a lot of Google searches, like how to get pink stains off, I stumbled upon this. I drive to the grocery store. I get it. All you do is you boil a couple, like a large pot of water.
Yeah.
You don't quite bring it to boiling, like pretty hot. Add the RIT color remover, add the shirt, and it says it takes about 20 minutes to remove the color.
So you have to boil.
Not boil. It's really just hot,
But
like on the verge of boiling.
You can't use it in your washing machine for a load of laundry.
No. I wouldn't do that. This is not, maybe you can. This is not what the directions for this say. This is for like a certain item or items. So I would suggest one item at a time.
Shoot.
So listen what happened.
Show me the shirt.
So, well, this is 2 years ago. This is the original shirt. Imagine it, pink tie-dyed everywhere. And I'm like, okay, I'm willing to wait 20 minutes for this to happen. I put the shirt in. Within 30 seconds, it is white again.
That's incredible.
It has removed all of the pink. I felt like I had hit the lottery. It was amazing.
So, but it was $2.
$2 to salvage this
one
shirt.
Which I get. Here's my issue. I have about a dozen towels. A dozen white towels that have a history of Amanda's hair dye on it.
Oh.
That's when I started buying brown towels. After a while, I was like, I'm like, I'm an idiot,
Yeah, that's when you have to buy black or brown towels.
Yeah, but so, I mean, I feel like I still need to salvage them somehow. But I don't want to
This may work.
boil each towel. That sounds excessive.
So maybe you can. If you were doing a whole load, what I'd be afraid of is there'd be residue like at the end of it, and it'd do something to the next load.
But is it bleach? Is it bleaching?
It's not bleach. It's really not bleach. It is removing color, and you have to be careful because if you have a shirt, so now fast forward to this week. So there were 2 shirts in particular that got ruined. One was almost like a screen printed T-shirt, a white T-shirt, but you could tell like those colors. If I put the screen printing into this, it would have removed every color, not just all the pink tie-dye.
Yeah.
The other was one of Abe's golf shirts, and it had pink on the collar. It had pink on the bottom. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
Both of them now, I am happy to say, sparkling white, back to its normal original state. And Abe's golf shirt is actually like a very thin pinstripe. It does not remove the stripes. Like they're very clear to say, like if you've got a striped shirt that's already like the color, like it's already dyed into it.
What if it's a solid shirt? Like
what does that mean?
If it was a solid blue shirt, like a light blue shirt, and it had those pink stains all over it, would it?
I don't know. I haven't tried. That's a good question. I haven't tried a shirt that's not white that got other stains, but possibly. Or you can just re-dye it that color. I don't know. All I'm saying is try RIT, R-I-T. It is phenomenal. Here's the thing I also do. I'm not just about finding a cure. I'm into prevention. So if we can do anything that's preventative, that's why I also have, which we did not use sadly, the Shout color sheets. You know this color absorbing sheets.
Yeah.
Do you know
So you
about
put those
these?
in? I mean, I've heard of them. I've never used them.
All right, you put these, they look like Bounce. You put them into your washer as you're washing clothes. This is for anybody who doesn't care about mixing whites, colors,
That's
etc.
me. That's
Like
me.
you, Alan Lebovitz, if
I
you're
do that.
listening, color guard.
I'm
Yeah,
just being efficient.
yeah, which is fine. Which again, love him. He actually does the laundry,
Love
not
him.
complaining.
Good.
But you put these in and it protects it. It absorbs all of the colors that
Yeah.
might be running. So I'm into prevention, but I'm also into the cure. So I have the both and approach. And now I'm happy. And now everybody has their white shirts back and I don't fret. So if it happens, it happens.
And I think everyone would like their podcast back after 10 minutes of talking about color removal.
Do you know how many people are going to be writing this down because they've got that pesky stain they were not able to get out? I'm
Thank
telling you, this
for
is a very helpful
saving our favorite,
PSA podcast.
saving our favorite white tank tops one podcast at a time.
One podcast at a time. Yeah. Well, in case you're tired of hearing me talk about laundry, which apparently you are, I have a new show for you.
Okay.
It's not new, but it's new to me. So it may be new to you. It's on Apple TV. It's a series and it's called Schmigadon't. Have you heard of this?
Yes, and I've watched it. I've watched
By the look on your face, that look of like contempt, it looks like you did not like it like I did.
No, I thought it was a great show. It's just been around for like 7 years.
No.
It's been around for a bit. Maybe it came out right before, maybe in 2018 is when it hit. Look, and
Okay, will you look it up?
I don't even know how to.
No, it premiered in July 2021. It's been out for 2
Oh,
years.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not that far behind.
I have no idea what year it is or how long
Okay.
it takes for things to happen.
Well, Cecily Strong, Keegan-Michael Key, they are
Yeah.
hilarious. Lauren Michaels, who produces it. I just went down this rabbit hole. I might have told you, I don't think I've told our listeners that I get to interview Alan Cumming next month for my show on PBS. I cannot wait. He's coming to Chattanooga to do a benefit for one of our amazing arts organizations called Arts Build. And so I've been doing a ton of research on him, which includes like all of the things he's been in, which is exorbitant.
A lot.
And he is, if you've watched Schmigadon't, he's the mayor. So, and he's a Scottish actor, but he does great accents, but he's the mayor on Schmigadon't. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll just watch a little bit so I know about the show. And I was laughing so hard within the first 10 minutes that I made the whole family watch it about 3 nights ago. We were all cracking up.
It's so
It is
funny.
so funny.
We were watching. Murray wanted us to watch Little Shop of Horrors
Yeah.
the other day, and he exclaimed, "Why don't more movies have music in them?" Like musicals, right? It's like and it's really just a Broadway show brought onto the silver screen. But I wonder if he would like Schmigadon't because he appreciates.
He would love it. Well, and all it is a very loving spoof on musicals from the 40s and 50s. And it's a spoof specifically, I didn't even realize this, on Brigadoon. Do you know what Brigadoon is?
Oh, I mean, I've heard of Brigadoon, but I don't know what it's about.
So Brigadoon was on Broadway, I guess, for like a year and a half, and it was on the silver screen, as you so eloquently said. And it was about a couple who stumble upon this like fantasy world that's a Scottish town that the portal to it only opens up once every 100 years.
Okay.
And so Schmigadon't is like this couple that lands into this, mystery world, but they've landed in 1940s or 50s musical.
Right.
It is, you know this, I'm telling people who may not know. If you don't like musicals, you will not like this because it is, I mean, everything is a prompt for another musical number.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really funny. The funniest part is like the couple's modern and all the people in the musical are not. And so it's very quintessential 40s, 50s music genre and sort of culture in terms of, a very pristine, conservative, very homey feel. And then the couple who's stuck in here is really funny. But so now Arthur has turned Schmigadon't into, everything is Schmiga something. He's like, Schmiga, don't do that. I'm like, he's like, you want to Schmiga dance? I'm like, you've got to. Everything is Schmiga,
That's
which
funny.
is now, yes. So our whole life is now Schmiga doing. I know Schmiga don't talk about this anymore.
So I've had this story I've wanted to tell, and I keep on forgetting to mention it because I get distracted by your amazing stories, and life
Which feels a little
ex-
disingenuous the way you said that,
experience.
but I'm going to let that pass. Go ahead. Go
But
on.
and we talked about the years ago, podcasts ago, we talked about that gas station safari that we found and like on the like right the outskirts of
I'm
Savannah.
still so jealous of that. Yes.
Right. So I like the whole concept of the private zoo is really intriguing to me, right? Because that's what that safari was. It was a private
Right.
zoo. It's not like it's sanctioned by the what is the AZA, the
Right.
American Zoological Association, which has guidelines. So,
Are
it's
you
like,
sure it's not? Maybe it is.
oh, 100% it's not. 100%. That gas station safari was not
It
AZA
was a
accredited.
collab. Is that what they call it when like designers like
Yes, it was a
it
collab.
was a C-store collab with the zoo. Yeah.
So I'm always looking for interesting things to do with the kids, and also I love random animals, including, as you know, cows. So I jumped at the chance to go to a privately owned zoo right outside of Destin called the Emerald Coast Zoo, and it is 100% private because they would never allow all the shenanigans that happen there. They would never allow that at the zoo. And there was everything from like typical petting zoo animals, right? Like you got your goats, you got your pigs, you got and they had Highland cows, and they had
You love
llamas,
Highland cows.
and they had emus, and then they had
Emu.
emus. They had
Or is it emu? Every
we
time you
keep
say emu, it's I think it's emu.
I don't know. Look it up. So, but then they have like animals that you don't want to pet, including wolves and
Oh gosh.
bears and alligators. They had a whole like reptile area. They had penguins. And so I want to just preface that it was very clean, modernized zoo, minus the fact that the cages for the big animals, those habitats were really small. So you hope there's an extra habitat for them to go to. And it was like 100 degrees, right?
Right.
And they had penguins. And I just took Oscar and Ruby, and we were like, what the heck? Why are there penguins at this zoo in Florida? They're outside, and we felt horrible for them. And then we realized there are penguins in different environments. They're
Yeah.
not just cold cold weather penguins. You forget about like the Galapagos Island has penguins,
Oh, well
right?
there you go.
So then, and we quickly asked, why are these penguins outside in 95-degree weather? Shouldn't they be under the cold,
Aren't they
right?
going to
Like,
melt?
right. It felt like punishment, abusive, and they're like, no, they're from this part of the country, this part of the world, and I was like, oh, okay. But so you have an option to have an experience with these animals, right? So that's why I went, because I wanted to
That
hug a
feels
sloth.
wrong just the way you describe that. Could you be more specific like a
Like
petting
you can like feed,
interaction?
so you can feed a bear, okay? And
No.
yep, you can feed a bear. You give them honey on a stick.
Do bears really eat honey? Or is that just like Winnie the Pooh?
This bear eats honey.
Okay.
This bear, so first of all, the bear was right near the parakeet exhibit, which was fun, and Mommy's nightmare because she's still afraid of that movie Birds. You go into this parakeet exhibit, and when I tell you there's 100 parakeets in there, and you give them, there's like a little stick you can give them with bird seed on it, but they land on you. So we were like we were under attack. I had like 5 parakeets on me. They land in your hair. They start fighting each other. They bite you. It doesn't hurt, but it's scary.
That
but it
sounds
was
like
fun.
a nightmare.
But so they were like across the way from where the bear is, and the bear is pacing up and down, and it looks sad. It reminds me of the Birmingham Zoo in the 80s
Was
when
it a really small enclosure?
it
Is
was
that why?
small. So I'm
Yeah.
like, that's because he's
That's
like
so
anxious.
sad.
He shouldn't be
Yeah.
in there. And so Oscar asked the woman about it, and she goes, "Oh, that's because I'm his handler, and he's anxious because I'm close by, but he can't get to me." And I'm thinking, all right, sure.
Yeah.
But so I go over there and I talk to him, and he listened to me. I go, what are you doing? Come over here. And he came over. He came over
Come
to me,
on.
and it was so hot. I go, why are you not hanging out in your pool? Go to your pool. And he got in the pool.
No, he did not.
He did. I wish I'd captured it on
Why
video.
didn't you have this on video?
I
This would be the
know,
best.
because I was not expecting for the bear to listen to me.
That you could get 1 million YouTube hits from that one interaction?
But I didn't. Okay, so we skipped the bear feeding because it was the most expensive, and I was like, this is how
Yeah,
viral
people
videos
die.
happen,
Yeah.
right? How did you
Seemed like
lose
a
your
good
finger,
idea.
Amanda? It was that bear incident. You didn't.
How
see
did you
about
lose
it,
Oscar, Amanda?
right?
Well, last time we saw him, he was feeding a bear.
Then you could hang out with the penguins, which we kind of felt bad, even though they were warm weather penguins. They just looked sad. I don't know. We were like,
Yeah.
no. Then you could hang out with the sloth, right? But you couldn't hug them. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to cuddle with the sloth. And she said the sloths, when they're sleepy, they don't really engage with us. So they were all sleeping, the two sloths. Or you could hang out with the kangaroos. So that's what we did. But they were what was the smaller? They're wallabies, really.
Okay.
They were wallabies, and I couldn't believe they let us in there. We were inside the whole wallaby exhibit, and they're just like, you can pet them. You can
Oh,
pet them.
gosh.
We had a baby bottle, and I'm like, well, why are we feeding him out of a baby bottle? And it was like an animal baby bottle, like,
Yeah.
and there's this one wallaby that was the only one that wanted the baby bottle, but and Ruby's like, is that a baby? And they're like, no, she's just spoiled. It's like a 6-year-old wallaby drinking out of a baby bottle,
It's
probably
like
meant
those kids that you see that are still on their bottle or like have a
right, have
pacifier,
a
but clearly they're like
pacifier.
in first grade. That annoys
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Pet peeve.
Yeah. So it was just, and it was fun. And there was a tortoise that was very friendly and was following us everywhere slowly. And
Did you pet the tortoise on its shell? Because they can feel it.
yes, they can feel
Okay.
it.
And they like that. Yeah.
So we pet the tortoise. He liked the romaine lettuce we gave him. And we were up close and personal with all these wallabies. It was a cool zoo. I felt bad for the predator animals because they had wolves there. They were just in really small cages. It didn't seem, it
That's
wasn't just,
sad.
and it wasn't just like a concrete cage. They had like uh natural looking habitats, but they were just so small.
Right. There's nothing natural about, a 10 by 10, cell
Right.
that happens to contain grass and a tree.
I mean, it was definitely bigger than that, but still, it felt like if they were in a
Yeah.
zoo, an AZA zoo, then then it would have been a better.
It feels like your experience might have been a collab between a zoo and the Wizard of Oz. And maybe that's why they called it Emerald. What'd they call it?
Emerald Coast.
Emerald Coast. Like
Well,
the Emerald City.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because a bear that almost talks but understands you, that feels a little magical.
It could also be because we were on the Emerald Coast.
I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
But mine is also a likely option. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Oh, and we got to feed giraffes. That was fun.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, we just hand them romaine lettuce.
Did they have a really tall platform that you stood on so that they didn't have to bend down?
No, they bent down.
Oh.
They came to us. Does that mean?
That feels cruel. That's
No,
a
even
long
at
way
the
down.
Atlanta Zoo, that's what they do.
Oh.
You don't have to. I think they bend down. I don't know.
I always think
Any-
about Jurassic Park, with the big vegisauruses, they call them, like the
The
brontosauruses
brontosaurus
that
yeah.
are eating in the trees. I mean, maybe they bend down to eat too, but I think they prefer their level. Not that I know what they're thinking, but that's fun.
Anyways, it's my goal in life that every city I visit, I find a cow that lives there that I can snuggle.
Feels like every city you visit, you want to find a non-sanctioned by the AZA home petting zoo where you can
Yes.
interact with animals that normally would be prohibited.
Look, if Decatur would let me, I'd get a miniature cow. But I don't have, and they would. I just don't have enough property for it.
Actually, Decatur says go for it,
But
but
it
yeah,
has to. There are all these requirements you have to meet, and we just are not far away enough from our
yeah,
neighbors. Although I don't think our neighbors would care if we got a
yeah.
baby cow.
All right, so that brings me, I just thought of this, and let's see what you think. So our cousin Nadav posts on his Facebook. He's so funny. I don't even know why I saw this a few weeks ago. And he goes, "This is just wrong." And I was like, "Oh, I love anything that starts with this is just wrong." And it's a guy, I don't even know if he knows this guy, but this guy buys a goat. And
Mm-hmm.
now the goat needs fencing, food, like a whole terrain, like all this stuff. But the guy doesn't have the money for it. So he's doing basically a GoFundMe campaign so he can have enough money to provide the right atmosphere and fencing and security for his goat. And Nadav's point was, dude, if you're going to get a goat, then you should be responsible for maintaining it and getting all that. Why should I have to pay for you to have a pet goat? Which I totally agree.
Right.
And I think people had a lot of backlash towards poor Nadav, who was, I think, speaking, what a lot of us think.
Yeah.
But, here's my point. Do you think the guy should be crowdsourcing to take care of his pet goat?
What are the circumstances of him getting this goat? Was
Okay,
he
let's be clear. This is all I know. I saw I saw the one surface Facebook post. I know
Yeah.
nothing about this guy. I know nothing about how this resolved. For all I know, the guy could have sold the goat, right? Or
Right.
maybe he's making lamb chops. I don't know. But this is, I guess, do you make lamb chops from a goat?
No.
Oh, sorry. That's
You would make lamb chops from a lamb.
maybe he's making goat chops. I don't know. So
And hamburger, I know it's confusing, Allison, but that's beef.
hamburger is not from a pig.
Not from pig.
Right. I always forget. Okay. Anyway, I have no clue about this guy's backstory. Just
Okay.
the premise of crowdsourcing for a pet. Right?
Okay.
And I'm sure people would be willing to pay.
I
Now
have
go.
opinions.
Okay,
So
go.
on its surface, I'm 100% with Nadav and you that this guy should pay for his own freaking pet, right? It's not like
Especially a goat, because that's beyond the normal.
right. And what
Yeah.
you do research before you get a pet to figure out what you need to do to maintain it, especially like you said, a goat. We're not talking about a dog that can live inside and people know the basics of that. It'd be one thing if he had a dog, the dog got hit by someone and he had this emergency surgery he needed a little help with. Like I understand that, but would you get a dog and then say, "Hey, I need you to pay for all of its food and its vet bills and all this
Yeah.
stuff?" No. But also, let's say one circumstance where I might be a little more okay with it is if it was his family member's goat and that family member could no longer take care of them because of an illness or because they died and the goat was going to be sent to slaughter and he rescued the goat, right? He was the only one who would take it. And
Right. If it was an orphan goat in a goat rescue situation, maybe.
right. It was like an emergency goat, right? But usually in those situations, you temporarily take the animal until you can place it with someone who is better equipped. And by the way, we've discussed this. Goats get lonely. Haven't we
Mm.
discussed this?
I don't know. This does not
With-
sound familiar.
With the yelling in our
Oh,
the help story. Do I need to retell this story?
the help. Yeah. I think you've told us.
We thought it was a woman yelling help and it was a goat who
It was
was
a
yelling
goat.
help.
Yeah.
Because goats get lonely.
They don't
need a
like
friend.
solitude.
They don't like they are hang out with a herd. So anyway, I think that guy's in the wrong. I think it's ridiculous.
Right. Because
Yeah.
let's say it was an orphaned or abandoned goat. I mean, certainly there is a farm somewhere that already has a plethora of goats, and that goat can just be one of the herd.
Yes,
They'd
there
never know the
are,
difference.
because I follow them all on TikTok.
You follow goat herds on
No,
TikTok?
I know. I follow all the like farm animal rescue sanctuaries.
Oh, right.
Like
They're
like a
everywhere.
like a cow or a pig will jump out of a truck on its way to slaughter, and then these places will rescue it.
All
Or
right.
there'll be a
Well,
little baby cow born blind, and they're going to just put it down, and the cow sanctuary saves it.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you agree because all this was really a setup to say if you end up getting that baby cow and putting it in your front yard, you better not run a GoFundMe account because nobody's funding the
No,
fence for
I'm
your
not
baby
doing
cow.
that. But I
All
will
right.
charge people to pet it
Well,
and
there you go.
to get emotional support hugs from the cow.
Perfect.
Well, thanks for listening to the latest Sis and Tell podcast. Don't forget to share us with your friends, share us with your family, share us with your foes.
As always, this has been Amanda and Allison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.
Sis and Tell.